Hey, it's Romy, Virgo. Thank you so much for tuning in to my channel if you're new or returning. This is your June monthly reading. So if you have a Virgo sun, rising or moon sign, it may resonate for you. It is a general reading, however. If you're enjoying my work, please make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and that you drop me a like and a comment. And if you'd like to join me for the extended reading, there is a link in the description box below, or you can head over to my website directly, which is romywyser.com. Virgo, let's go ahead and see what's coming up in June for you. Okay, Virgo family, let's take a look and see what the energy story for June is. This is a general reading. Astrologically, we have 6 planets retrograde in June: Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter and Venus, and soon to be joined by Mercury retrograde in Cancer from the 18th, and then Neptune on the 23rd retrograde in Pisces. We also have 2 eclipses taking place. The first in Sagittarius, a lunar eclipse full moon on the 5th of June, and then on the 21st, a solar eclipse in the sign of Cancer, which is also the solstice energy. So an awful lot moving through this month ahead, and we open up your reading with the Queen of Cups. I see Virgo energy as being really in tune with their feelings through this month, which is kind of interesting because actually Gemini's season for you, particularly Virgo rising, is 10th house, right? So it's very much a focus on your profession, your career, that kind of long-term planning, the way that you're thinking about your reputation and your image, and perhaps the ambitions that you hold. But here's the thing, right? Because we're getting plunged into this retrograde season, and particularly with that Venus retrograde and Mercury coming up, the highlight around relationships, around our emotional self. We're working in mutable energy, we're working in water energy with Mercury and Cancer. You're really being invited to understand what's going on within you. And I see that even though there may be some focus around work, perhaps the pause or the slowing down or the challenges that you might be facing in that particular area are kind of all leading you back into the heart space, because it's there that you have to reconcile with yourself. What is it that I want and why, and what does come next, and does that really make me happy, and is this the right approach? And so there's an awful lot of evaluating taking place, but it's coming from your emotional self. Now, Queen of Cups is deeply intuitive. She's reading the energy of situations incredibly well. And I think that as you are traversing your way through this month, Virgo, there's some light bulb moments going off, and you're going to need to be incredibly compassionate and healing towards the self as this happens. Because what you may well find is that some of the things you're revealing to yourself or is being mirrored back to you by others may come as a bit of a surprise or a shock to you. But ultimately, it's really helping you to shed another layer, to allow yourself that kind of metamorphosis energy to come through. And when we're working with eclipse energies, right, they are all about seismic shifts that take place in our life, often things that we're not fully in control of, and that we end up, being quite reactive to, and sometimes impulsively so, because they can really change the entire dynamic of the way that we're living. Now, we've already gone through that kind of energy with lockdown, so your life's already thrown into disarray in some aspect or another. So, what does come up through these eclipses is almost like the indicator of where the next big shift on the pathway is coming. Now, this Queen of Cups could also indicate a water sign, a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, or certainly somebody in your life who's kind of stepping forward with an emotional expression, And in Gemini energy, we want to communicate, we want to talk, we want to speak, but with all of the retrograde, sometimes that can get misinterpreted, it can be misconstrued. 8 of Cups here is talking about the need to let go, to move away, and to say goodbye, to make peace with something. Now, either somebody is walking away from you, or you're perhaps considering walking away from them, or a situation. But I also think that this is deeper This is deeper than that, Virgo. This is about something that's going on within your soul self, your spiritual self. This is about you acknowledging and knowing where you need to release something in order for you to be able to create space for that next big plan to formulate in your life. Now look here, the figure is stood atop this mountain, looking quite isolated, knowing that the work has to be done on the self. You know, there's not people here to show you the way, but actually that full moon is lighting up the path. Now it looks kind of treacherous for sure, but there's already an acknowledgement that I'm going, I have to go, I need to go, this has to change. And it's in that surrender, that I really see you kind of owning and taking something on in your own soul journey that's going to be profound for you this month, you know. But Eight of Cups can feel bittersweet is what I want to say. It can feel bittersweet. And as we, you know, work with all of that mutable energy, and then we have Mercury retrograde in Cancer, water sign, Neptune retrograde in Pisces, water sign. Expect this month, Virgo, that you are going to be plunged at times into, you know, what feels like a very kind of nebulous, at times perhaps slightly confusing energy, but you are being powerfully guided. That's what the energy of that is showing me, because Queen of Cups is so intuitive, you know, she's absolutely tuned in, and she's going to make sure that you are approaching things from the right energy perspective, right? So Nine of Wands, the wounded warrior. There is the tiredness, right? There's a weariness of maybe even as you look towards what you have to let go of, or as somebody moves away from you, or something feels like it's moving away from you. Remember, in retrograde season, it can almost feel like everything's changed and everything's moved backwards and we haven't made any progress, and it's such a kind of unclear reflection of what really is going on, you know. So don't be too quick to sort of buy into the surface meaning of things, okay? You need to go deeper than that. And what that is going to take is some perseverance, is some courage, is some tenderness to self, yeah? And, you know, maybe you feel a bit battle weary, you know, maybe you had to fight really hard for something recently, or you know you're about to have to, and it feels perhaps there's not really enough in the tank to be able to make that happen. But there is. You know, this journey isn't being presented to you for no reason, Virgo. There's something so valuable that you're going to gain from it, that you're literally right on the cusp of a beautiful change and a beautiful awakening in your life if you're ready to embrace that. You know, the 10th house in Gemini is about that long-term planning. And it's also about the recognition that you can give to yourself. It's not about needing that validation from anyone else, you know. Perhaps becoming a little bit more focused on what the true priorities are right now, what really matters. And as we move into Cancer season, into your 11th house, there's this really strong urge to become more, to do more, to make a difference. You know, this is about leaving a legacy and how you're then going to do it. And the 11th house is all about your wishes, your hopes, your dreams, but it's also about the way that you're showing up, you know, how you connect with other people. You know, the friendships that you have, the groups that you align to, who you want to be a part of, you know, in that, and how you want to be seen, and kind of share your experience, share your knowledge. So there's a lot of inner work taking place, and then kind of almost the choices and decisions that are then going to come from that. So King of Wands energy coming forth, and it could be a fire sign, Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo. I think really inviting you at this point though, Virgo, to be resourceful, to be enterprising, but also to trust your instinct, you know. For me, Queen of Cups and King of Wands, a formidable kind of synergy of energies all around our desire, our passion, our intuition, and then the ability to manifest something from that, you know. But there's warmth that comes in too, you know. The Queen of Cups can be deeply healing, you know, that very empathic kind of an energy. And King of Wands is coming forward with heart and with courage. I kind of feel these are energy influences that you're going to be working with. But if they are connected into specific people, then again, there's decisions and choices to make, you know? And if that is the case, I think, Virgo, you're going to have to dig deep to figure out what is truly right for you. Not what was right for you last week or last year, but what you feel now and where you want to be in the future. And, you know, who's going to form a part of that? Who's going to be part of Team Virgo? Who do you want to move and shake with in your career, professionally, in business? Who is part of that soul family for you? You know, these are strong allies if you want them to be. But if what they represent is no longer something that you can aspire to or just doesn't feel right for you anymore, then maybe you are going to make that decision to say, okay, I'm done, enough. I need to move on. I need to invite in a different kind of experience. For those of you with a focus specifically around business, King of Wands denotes that beautiful burst of energy and almost like just being, I know this might sound a bit funny to say, but I'm kind of getting the phrase getting away with it. So it's almost like if you have a plan and it's kind of written on the back of a fag packet type of an idea, it can fly, it can work. You're bringing forward an energy this month, Virgo, that can make it happen. So be bolder, be more visionary, stretch your imagination, go outside of your comfort zone. Remember, in retrograde, it's all about reviewing. So you're looking at existing plans, you're perhaps identifying where things need to be tweaked, where a new approach has to come forward. And if you're able to do that with a complete open mind and really trusting in your gut instincts, something really special can come from that. Two of Wands, because the planning and the prioritization of things is kind of rich around you through this month of June. I actually think the slowing down of that energy, and remember, Gemini is also ruled by Mercury, your ruling planet. Now, Gemini, North Node, setting the agenda, setting our destiny point right now, that's a familiar energy for you to move into, that mercurial, kind of mutable sign that helps you to unlock and access information and kind of piece it together in really innovative ideas. Now you're kind of looking over the precipice here, down at something beneath. And to a certain extent, even though, you know, this card denotes about the planning and something, you know, coming into a kind of point of like giving birth into an idea in your mindset, right? But I'm also seeing this figure kind of looking a little bit trepidatious, kind of like leaning over the edge and going, right, okay, like what's coming at me? And it sort of links in a little bit to this Nine of Wands. So just careful you're not moving into that energy of just going, oh my goodness, what next? So if you've had a experience of late where it's perhaps been one thing after another that's felt really intense and really challenging, yeah, this is also a time now to move out of any kind of mindset that's going to, you know, bring any sort of self-sabotaging or you know, worst case scenario. This is about you employing the best of that fire energy. Now, there's also a message here that could say you're a little bit uncertain about what this fire energy has going on, or what they're offering you, or what they're bringing to the table. And if for some of you we're looking at this from a relationship perspective with Venus retrograde, you know, you may well be really having to take a moment to say, what is the motive and the agenda here? Does it really serve my highest good at the moment? Is this really what I want? This is where I see you kind of having to be very careful to make sure that you are being open and direct with where you're at, Virgo, so that there's no room for misunderstanding. Absolutely no room for misunderstanding. Otherwise, you could find yourself getting tangled up, is what I feel, in a situation that perhaps later you want to move out of or escape from. Okay, so whether that be professionally, personally, within friendship dynamics, just, you know, it could show up in any number of areas for you. Ace of Pentacles. I love this, right? Because you are, through this month, taking care of body, mind, and soul. Something is coming in that is changing you deeply this month, Virgo. And it's interesting because, you know, sometimes it's like we think, I mean, eclipse energies absolutely can bring in profound external events and situations, but it can also be those like really kind of mundane moments where we're standing doing the dishes and all of a sudden something lands in our conscious awareness and it's like, boom, okay, I can never go back. I can never unlearn what just landed for me. Do you know? And it's just that point of no return. But from that, something really beautiful emerges, because then you finally recognize, or you come to terms with something, or you're ready to begin something, to reset something. And what it's showing, these hands are just beautifully holding this gold coin. The gold coin, well, representing not just the abundance from a financial perspective, but it's the seed of an idea of a brand new expression of how you're going to show up. Yeah? And, you know, you're right at the beginning of that. That's okay. It doesn't mean that life necessarily is going to change overnight. But it's like the knowing that comes from that. You can't then ignore it. There's no avoidance, is what I want to say. So it's really beautiful. Now, for those that do have new ideas, for those that are looking for a fresh beginning, for something to get back on track, we absolutely have the possibility of that showing up in June. You know, remember, this is something that needs to be tended and cultivated though, you know? So take your time with it. We're in this retrograde season, you know, over the next few weeks with many of these planets. Venus moves direct though on the 25th, which will ease particularly communication around key relationships, you know, but also invite in abundance in a more meaningful way. What's going to be really important, Five of Swords, is that you get over any disappointment or setback and you do not allow it to hold you back now. So if you have experienced things because of lockdown, if there are things that have gone on that have been out with your control, if you feel let down or somehow, you know, blindsided by a person or a situation, the longer you spend in this kind of energy mindset, the harder it's going to be to actually work and invite in and embrace what is coming, okay? The mountains here in the Ace of Pentacles is linking into what's happening in the Eight of Cups. To get to this, we have to navigate through this, okay? And what is on your mind as you're about to take that journey is whatever is represented by the Five of Swords to you. So something that you have had to experience, whether that be on an emotional level or something that's happened in your life or the result of what another person has done. But whatever that kind of energy, you have to reconcile and make peace with it. You have to come to a point of, even if you recognize there are no real winners here. There's nothing really to gain by going back over and over and over old ground. You know, I just get the phrase, cut your losses, Virgo. Cut your losses somewhere and begin to embark on that journey, because what's coming from it is going to be really important for you. Now, for some of you, this might all be happening on the internal. This might be about self-sabotaging patterns, dealing with your ego self versus your spiritual self. For others, there'll be really strong dynamics playing out with specific people, perhaps returning energies, people from the past, or, relationships that need to be evaluated, need something that needs to be dealt with or looked at. Four of Pentacles coming in is suggesting that there is a little bit of uncertainty and fearing of losing out or losing something. You're not going to. And in fact, I actually see quite the opposite. I actually see something rebuilding. I actually see you putting firm foundations in place. I actually see finances looking way more favourable coming down the line than you anticipate. But again, you have to get over any setback, cut your losses, because actually what you still have or what is about to come in is going to be more. It's going to be better. It's going to serve you better because it's going to meet your new energy. And if you have been doing the work on yourself, many of you have been, if you have been doing that work on self, then you know, that's a higher vibration. So what you're actually attracting in is more likely to stay. It's more likely to feel fulfilling for you. It's more likely to feel like something that represents who you are. Remember, back to 10th house, how we want to be seen, like the way that we contribute, you know, the work that we're doing, whether that's initiatives or our job or our business. It's like, you know, if it feels more meaningful and it's more representative of who you are as a person, it's going to feel so much sweeter, isn't it? So that's kind of where I see us going with it. You know, you've got a lot of stability, grounded earth energy coming in to support you this month, Virgo. Three of Pentacles is the new projects and initiatives that are going to begin following these ideas that are coming forth. Yeah? Perhaps the need to listen and be open-minded to what other people have to say. Perhaps the idea that we might need to collaborate. We might need to find a different approach now. You know, something fundamentally is going to shift in your world that's going to mean that you're going to have to look at something completely new. And you might not have the tools to do that. You might be going back to the drawing board with something. You might be reworking strategies and plans. But feel excited by that because it's full of possibility. So anywhere that there's an ending or a kind of a disappointment or a setback, something is coming in that is offering you something that's richer and more sustainable. That's what I want to say. And that goes for relationships too, okay? So the more discerning you are, the more clear you are about what it is that you need and what you're looking for, the more able you're going to be to move away from anything that is no longer serving you. Let's take a look and see what the oracle cards are for this period in June. You know, on the 28th, Mars moves into Aries, and at the moment it's in Pisces, which can be kind of challenging because, yes, it helps us to, you know, support the underdog, to be more compassionate. But when we're trying to get things done, Mars in Aries gives us that fire, it gives us that directive. Venus is direct by that point too. So by the end of the month, when we hit that Jupiter-Pluto conjunction, which is the second of three, right? The first one happened 4th of April. The third will be the 12th of November. There's a lot more fire in your belly. That's what I want to say, Virgo. And your oracle card is revolution. You are causing a revolution. You are about to create one. You are caught up in one, you know, in the collective, but also you're having a personal revolution. I mean, there's so much dynamic, moving energy here. We love Gemini season for that, right? All of that air energy, bringing in all of the possibilities, allowing us to approach things completely differently. And sometimes for Virgos it's tough, right? Because you like to be calm and considered and methodical in your approach. But remember, you're mutable too. You are that mercurial energy. So you love to think about the bigger picture and the ideas, you know? And this is what I see unfolding for you. We've got this beautiful full moon here. Now that Sagittarius lunar eclipse has some harsh energies, not gonna lie. Venus square to Mars, moon square to Mars. So could be quite frustrating, particularly around relationships. For you, it's in your 4th house, so maybe something in and around the family dynamic that's going to surface around that point. But also what's going on within the internal landscape for you to work with, okay? But what I want to invite you to consider is a revolution means that we're breaking free. We're liberating ourselves from something. We're exploring new territories. We are exploring new energies. We are bringing in something that has never been before. We are going further. We are becoming more. What do we need in the 11th house in Cancer energy? The urge to become more, to fulfill our hopes and dreams, to tap into the group consciousness and see how we are a part of that, how we can show up within it. So I love that energy for you coming through. I think it's ballsy, and I think if you're needing that because you have been suffering or experiencing some setbacks or more challenging emotional energies, Virgo, then that's set to come in and shake things up for you in the best possible way, yeah? Okay, eclipse in Aquarius, awakening, your deeper resolve rises. Again, Aquarius, you know, linked into Uranus energy, the ruler of the 11th house. There is this kind of really breaking new ground quality that's coming forth, but it's as a result of this beautiful epiphany that's taking place within you, you know. This yogic pose inviting you to enjoy a moment of deep rest, to really consider things. We are in eclipse season now, powerfully, okay? Something is surfacing for you as a result of what you go through this month, Virgo, and it is giving you a stronger, deeper resolve than you've ever had before to move towards something new, or to change something, or to finally embrace something. Nobody can take that away from you. Remember what I said, you can't unlearn what you then receive this month. It can't be undone. There's no going back, but you don't want to. You know, I see you just looking directly toward the change and owning it and embracing it and just saying, okay, I'm ready, arms open, in that receptive mode. I hope that has helped, Virgo. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please make sure that you do so you don't miss any further updates. And if it's resonated, drop me a like and a comment. It really helps the channel, and I'm really incredibly grateful. Now, if you'd like to join me for the extended, I'm going to go talk another 20 minutes or so to go a little bit deeper into this reading. You can find the link for that in the description box underneath the video. Just click on the downward arrow or head over to the website, which is romywyser.com. So this is a general reading. What I'm going to now invite you to do is think about a question very specific to you that I might not have answered or hasn't come out specifically in this reading. We'll pull a couple of cards on it, and we can cover that off in the next reading. So just think about that now for me, Virgo. Okay, pop them there. So now I'm going to just clarify this 9-card spread for us, see what else we can unearth. So this Queen of Cups bringing forward 3 of Swords. Okay, another 8 of Cups here. 6 of Coins. Okay, we've got Page of Coins energy coming through here. The Tower situation. I mean, I just do think there's a really powerful revelationary event that's set to take place. And, you know, some of you Virgos, you may already have experienced this, you know, time is not linear, and this may come in over the next few weeks as we move out of June. So just be open-minded about how the energy is flowing on your particular path. Empress energy here. And your card, Virgo, with the Hermit. 9 of Wands bringing in 4 of Cups. Moon. Could be Pisces energy as well here. We also have King of Wands and 3 of Coins. Knight of Coins, 7 of Wands, Sun, and the 10 of Coins here. Okay. Really focused on your stability, your home life, your finances. 2 of Wands, clarified with the 2 of Wands again, goodness. 6 of Swords here, Knight of Swords, and again, this King of Coins. Either you, Virgo, or perhaps a Capricorn or Taurus, but again, very focused around security. Planning for the future. Libra energy with the card of Justice coming through there. Contracts, signing documents, important. Emperor energy and the Knight of Wands. Okay, a lot of people showing up in this reading. Like we said, with that kind of revolutionary energy, there's a lot of things changing quickly. Even though we're in retrograde season and things are slowing down, I just feel like you've got an event or a series of events where, you know, it's like flip-flop. 1 minute you're here and then everything's changed, and then you're kind of having to adapt and adjust to that. And for some, that's going to be really exciting. Strength card here, 7 of Swords, 2 of Swords. And for others, it might feel a little bit more unsettling to try to work through. But ultimately, what is coming in for you, like we said, you're breaking new ground and you're liberating yourself from something. 7 of Cups, 5 of Wands. 3 of Coins, 4 of Swords. Chariot energy here as well. Okay, 4 coins showing up again. Just one final card here. Card of Judgment. Yeah, absolute awakening and rebirth taking place for you. Okay, Virgo, thank you so much. If you want to join me, we'll continue this narrative and pick out some additional messages for you in the extended. Otherwise, I wish you bright blessings for this month ahead. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it.